Pregame.com.
We're here for another week of videos. Pregame.com. We've got great picks coming up. First one up is Chuck Edel. He's going to talk about the Virginia North Carolina game. Chuck, we got North Carolina is 3.5, total 61.5. Your opinion on this one?
I'm going to go the total in this game. You know, a lot of times when they're making these totals, when teams kind of adjust here during the season, I still feel like they're making the number off the whole season, maybe not adjusting as much as they should. We look at a North Carolina team. Teams are figuring out they cannot stop the pass. In 4 of their last 5 games, they've allowed an average of 42.5 points. The only game I took out of there was when they played Miami of Florida. That was a horrible weather day, very windy. You couldn't throw the ball. Other than that, the last 4 games giving up 42.5 points a game. Now they're playing a team, Virginia, who actually is stepping up, starting to play a little faster. Earlier in the year, they were mixing up the run real good. Last couple games, they picked it up. 83 plays 2 weeks ago. Last week, 85 plays they ran against this Miami of Florida team. Rocco, the quarterback there, throwing the ball real well. I think this is a North Carolina team he's going to be able to put some yards up. On the other hand, North Carolina is really offensively has stepped it up. Unfortunately, they've been losing some games defensively. In fact, obviously, the game against Georgia Tech, they lose 68-50. But I think it's a little bit of a short number. I like it to go over the total here.
VR.
I got to agree with Chuck. And when it comes to Virginia, I thought coming into the season, this was going to be a team that scores some points. And that wasn't the case. And that lends, credit to what he was saying, that these numbers are based on what happened earlier in the season. I also think that later in the season, what you got to remember, early on, we know that defense is usually ahead of offense. It takes a while for the offense to get into a rhythm, and the defense usually has an advantage. Late in the season, I think it's the opposite. The offenses are in a rhythm, and the defenses are beat up physically.
Yes.
I mean, these guys have been taking a pounding now for 9, 10, 11, 12 weeks. It takes a toll on your body physically, and I think that's a big advantage to the offense. And in this game, you have 2 offenses that could score, 2 defenses that are known to give up points. The only way you could look is to the over. And the fact that it's 61.5 is a telling sign. So I got to agree with Chuck here. Usually you think, is it the public side? And not that you're going to fade the public side because you're not getting 11 to 10. You're not going to get rich doing that. But fading the public side, sometimes going in, you're getting the best of the number. That it's shaded a little bit towards that bias. And in this case, I don't see that. So I got to agree with Chuck. I see value in the over as well.
Chuck, I do want to ask you, what's the difference the last couple of weeks in Virginia? Because they have certainly changed that whole offense. They've struggled. They put up 43 their first game of the year against Richmond. After that, they struggled. They actually put up 38 against Louisiana Tech, which is
right.
a lot of teams have done that. But then the last couple of weeks, and are they using both quarterbacks? What are they doing?
The last week, actually, Rocco came in the game and played majority of that game. They were kind of switching back and forth quarterbacks. Rocco now 100% healthy. Mm-hmm. They let him go. Parks running the ball well also for Virginia, which has helped. But if you look back, like you mentioned, Louisiana, Virginia has played some slow-down teams like a Wake Forest when the scores were a lot lower. But you look at when they played like a Louisiana Tech, a Georgia Tech, I mean, those were really high-scoring games. Now we're going to see 2 teams playing fast, and Virginia has been playing a little more up-tempo over the last couple of games.
North Carolina, they're so balanced offensively. But offensively, they're so balanced. They throw for almost 300 yards. They run for 200 yards. So you're going to have trouble stopping North Carolina. Virginia knows going in, this is going to be whoever has the ball last and see, just like with the Miami game.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's the same kind of game. It sets up perfectly.
Okay, we've talked about it. Let's go ahead and make it official.
I like the Virginia-North Carolina game to go over the total. Both teams really struggling to stop anybody here over the last couple of weeks. They're both playing fast. North Carolina giving up over 42 points a game over their last 5 games, but offensively, they can move the ball. I like it to go over the total.
Got to agree with him. Nice ACC game. Points will be coming.
Okay. I know. And then that last week's game with Carolina and Georgia Tech, I mean,
they're still scoring.
Yeah, they're still scoring.
Over 100 points.
The punter fell asleep.
Okay, coming up next, we have the Dolphins and the Bills, another Thursday night game. We're going to get a pick from VR on this one. You can watch all our videos at pregame.tv.
The punter.